So, Jim Dale, a wild week of weather.
It's a wild week of weather. Perhaps we should get a little bit more used to wild weeks. We went through a wild winter actually, a very wet winter. Not much snow around. So I suppose in a way we reached the spring and went through what was a very dry spring, and now we've reached, if you like, the apex of the summer, and it's changed. And to be frank with you, I think it was due. This kind of throwback to wetter weather in the middle of the summer, particularly the thundery type of stuff, is not that unusual when we've been through a dry spring. You don't tend to get a very dry spring and then a very dry summer running next to each other.
I can't remember. Particularly, I think it was Tuesday night in Birmingham when the biggest storm happened. I can't remember it a continuous rumbling of thunder for as long as we had the other night. It was about an hour and a half, and it didn't actually stop.
Yeah, it's an unusual event when it lasts for that long, and it got stuck over you, to be honest with you. I was watching it on radar on Spherics as well, Spherics being sort of radar of lightning strikes, and it was quite something. Very slow moving. There wasn't a lot of wind to push these things on, and whilst these things happen from time to time, it's still an unusual event when they last that sort of length and with that kind of ferocity. And I don't know why, but the Midlands tends to be an area that it tends to sort of home in on.
Are we going to have to dispense with the term "flaming June"?
Yeah, it's an old saying, isn't it? Flaming Junes, they come and go. No 1 month. I mean, if it was this easy, if we could say Flaming June every June, then it'd be great, wouldn't it? I wouldn't have a job for a start. So I think in the main, I think this sort of changeable weather that we get, I think that's here to stay. I think double guessing whether June's going to be flaming or whether it's going to be flaming wet or flaming thundery. I think we're in that sort of melting pot of where we're going now, with not just with our type of weather, which has been a bit Mediterranean, to be honest with you. It's behaved as if we've been in northern Spain to a large degree, but with climate change coming right on, right in there as well. I think it's completely a mixed up picture now.
So we had a similar story last June. Long story short, I was in a caravan in Rhyl with the family, and we barely left the caravan. It was that bad.
Lovely Rhyl.
Lovely Rhyl.
Many times as a kid.
I'd love to go in the. I'd love to know what it's like when the sun's out. I really would. I've been a couple of times, but that's by the by. But you go back to 2018. It was an incredible month. June and July. I remember obviously the World Cup comes to mind in Russia, and a lot of us were enjoying the barbecues and the football and the festivities. Yeah. So it is changeable, isn't it?
Well, these things do swap around, and I was saying you can't sort of say, June is going to be labelled June as this or May as that. That doesn't happen. What you can do is look at a period like the spring and say, well, look, I was saying at the time, I was saying this is going to come to an end. We can't carry on with the drought all the way through spring. And if you look back in history, when you get those sort of situations, dry Aprils particularly, you tend to come out of it on the other side with these sort of wet occasions. So it does swap around. A wet spring normally will give her a better summer. Mm. One man's good weather or woman's good weather is another's bad weather, and by that I mean the poorer weather, if you like, the wetter weather or the drier, depending on where we're looking and where, is somewhere else. So, for example, this week it's been extremely hot, even right the way up to Siberia and beyond, into the sort of Arctic region. And I'm talking about plus 30 degrees, where really and truly, in the wintertime, it's minus 60. Really and truly, the average is around 10 or 11. So you can see that kind of weather was there. We were in this sort of mixed weather, I would call it, this thundery type of stuff. So, as I said to you, these extremes of weather end up somewhere, and you just got to look for them, see who's getting what. Normally, we're in the sort of normally for the UK generally we end up in a sort of not very interesting sort of scenario. In other words, nobody sort of sees the UK as the sort of haven of extreme weather necessarily. You look to United States, Australia, and other places, but occasionally it does happen.
It's all about the jet stream, isn't it? With Britain, if the jet stream's above the Shetland Islands, then we're usually in for some good times weather-wise.
Yeah, that means basically that, for the most part anyway, that high pressure will be, the Azores high pressure or even the Scandinavian high pressure link up over us, and we end up in the dry zone. Yeah, you did right. That's exactly what happened in spring. Blocked off the Atlantic, jet stream went north. Hey presto, we get weeks of dry, sunny, warm weather, which is exactly what happened. I wouldn't say it's a blocking high. That's what that is. And we're not stuck in a rut in that case. We're stuck in the exact opposite. We're on a nice mountain somewhere, enjoying the sunshine and everything else that goes with it. And to be frank with you, with coronavirus at the time, and still going, I think that was a blessing to many, many people. I'm not saying everybody, not everybody was venturing out, but for some that did, for their exercise or otherwise, and I know from polls we did on Twitter, that was more of a blessing than the other way around. So yeah, it was a good thing at the time.
So for the week ahead, I mean, can you give us any good news? Is there anything good to look forward to?
Well, almost back to square one in terms of saying, look, the heat's coming back again, and on the back of that, probably the thunderstorms. So maybe we're in for a bit of a replay here. I think by the time we get to Wednesday, progressively this week will warm up anyway. By the time we get to Wednesday, the Midlands will be around about maxing around about 27, 28 degrees, further south into the 30s. And even then, having to watch your backside for these thunderstorms, even if they're only going to be sporadic to begin with, isolated to begin with, I think they'll get more prone as the week moves on, Thursday into Friday, and then the weekend probably the apex of it, it'll cool down again, maybe to a degree anyway, and those thunderstorms. So it's everything to play for this week. We're still in that kind of thermal mix, if you like, not quite settled down, and I wouldn't expect the rest of the summer to go too much into that thing. So hot spikes or very warm spikes is what we're looking at, as opposed to long, prolonged, heat waves that last like 1976. That's not probably on.
Yeah. Well, my mum always told me, because 76 was before my time, but my mum told me that it actually snowed in May in 76. And that was like, that's right. We're going to get, we're going to get
1976, yeah. And then it was followed by one massive drought, and the drought minister and everything else that went with it. And that actually ended in early September with some massive floods. So you see, you can't get too much of a good thing. You can't get too much of a bad thing. There's always, Mother Nature has this tendency to work it out and sort of give you what you haven't had, if that makes sense. I'm a big believer in that, a big believer in the balancing effect. It's not equal, but you tend to, over a period, you tend to get what you're due, if that makes sense. You just don't want it to come all at one go. And sometimes it does. And so that's the peril.
And just before we let you go, we'll get you on again in a few weeks' time to talk about this in more detail. But you've got a new book coming out.
Yes, I have. I've got a book coming out July the 9th, and it's available online. I think Amazon are carrying it, and offline in the big bookshops, WH Smith, Waterstones. I think it's called Weather, WEATHER, Whether or Not, ? And it's the personal and commercial impacts of the weather and climate. So it's not a what you would call an anoraks book. It's not for weather people necessarily, people who, have got that sort of look like looking at the clouds or any of that nature. It's actually about your life, our lives, how the weather is the biggest impact on our lives, bar nothing.
Well,
absolute.
We're British.
Through from sport, music, the arts, our health and welfare, finance. It's all in there. It's called Whether or Not, and it'll be out 9th of July.
Well, like I said, we'll get you on again to talk about that around the time. But thanks very much for joining us. Jim Dale from the British Weather Services, thanks very much.